To some people, financial security is the most important thing in life. To others, financial security and philanthropy are equally important. However, there aren't a lot of individuals who are solely focused on philanthropy. Today, we have an interview with a major philanthropist who is a Harvard graduate and also a Columbia graduate, and was also once a vice president of an investment bank on Wall Street in New York. Why did he give up all his fortune and glory and instead dedicate himself to rescuing AIDS-impacted orphans in rural China from the impoverished conditions they were living in? I guess many of you have already guessed who I'm interviewing today. That person is Mr. Chung, the founder of Heng Foundation.
Hello, I'm very delighted to be here.
So, Mr. Chung, the subject of our interview today is living through deep winter. In your life, how many deep winters have you experienced? When you were at school or working on Wall Street, did you ever experience low points in your life, or have you ever felt lost?
The first question is about winter or down points in life. I think everyone has experienced some sort of ups and downs in their life, but I tend to be more optimistic as a person. So whenever there's a downturn, I would try to make it out of it and don't remember too much about the hardship. However, we should learn from the hardship so that we can have more experience to face the future. I have met a lot of successful people in different industries, different areas, and I observe that the reason why they're successful is not because they are lucky or their life is very smooth. Actually, a successful person might have faced an equal amount of challenges and obstacles in their life. However, they know how to endure and stand up again. So I think when we look at successful people, we should not be just envious or think that, oh, I'm not like that person, I'm not successful because I don't have that opportunity, I'm not lucky. No. It's only if we are as resilient as they are, we also can be at least more successful than we are today. So I always look at the down points in my life as challenges and an opportunity to learn. Once I've overcome it, I would not make the same mistakes, or I become a stronger person. I have experienced many down points. Some are related to people leaving me, including the children who got HIV and have died, or people that I care about who passed away. And I think that is a very hard thing to overcome. Of course, there are other challenges such as physical challenges, vertical challenges. I'm not very tall. Sometimes I also, have my fair share of rejection at Heng, because nowadays in a charity we have to ask people for money. People may not identify with your cause, and we should not take that for granted. And sometimes it is hard to convince people to support you, no matter what industry you are. Whether I need to ask people to buy a cup of coffee from our social cafe, to make a donation to our charity, all these require people support. And in most cases, there would be rejection, and sometimes we have to take rejection in a way of it's a way to in not a negative way, and I think these are the lessons that I learned. And 2020 was a difficult year because of the pandemic. A lot of industries, a lot of people, including Heng, suffered a lot. We all have to overcome it and hope that we can be a better person, a better organization, and a better group of people. So if 2020 has given you a hard time, don't give up, and we will all overcome it together.
Thank you, Chung, for your answer. So I remember I first met you in 2012, and I even remember accompanying you to one of the village visits in 2015 as well. However, I know it always hasn't been easy for Heng. I remember back in 2007, it was a bottleneck year for Heng. I remember even asking you how many orphans you were supporting, and your answer was just over 1,000, as you guys did not have enough funds to take care of so many children. During all these years running Heng, did you ever encounter any other bottleneck moments?
Well, I think Heng Foundation has been around for 23 years, and every once in a while we would encounter a bottleneck, and like many growing organizations, it is the challenge is how to overcome the bottleneck and expand and continue the growth. So every stage is different. Sometimes it's the bottleneck in terms of funding. Sometimes it's the bottleneck in terms of human resources. Sometimes it is in terms of the number of students we sponsored and the level of local government support. Sometimes it is our own internal operational capacity. For example, our number of officers, our computer system, our student database, etc. So there are different stages and different bottlenecks. Actually, 2007 wasn't a very bad year. It was during the 2003 and 4 was a bad year because of SARS, and 2008/2009 was also a bad year due to the financial crisis. And now, of course, during the pandemic is another very challenging year. So that is in terms of financial income. But in terms of the number of students, we were able to keep growing. But also in terms of program and capacity, in terms of human resources, we have different areas. So sometimes you have to build and expand in anticipation of a significant growth. For example, if you are an Amazon and you have a warehouse and the warehouse is reaching its capacity, or if you are an airport, the airport has 2 runways and it is reaching capacity, you really have to invest and build a 3rd runway, or you have to invest to build a warehouse, another bigger warehouse. Although initially, once the runway or the warehouse was built, you might not reach the level of capacity right away. You have to expand in anticipation of the future growth. In charity, it is the same. We have to anticipate the need of the student and the future needs, so that we can grow our services to serve our children before the need arises.
I guess after many years of philanthropy and Heng, there have been many ups and downs. After 23 years of Heng's work, have you ever felt fatigued and tired?
No, I have founded Heng Foundation, and Heng has been around for 23 years. And I am over 50 years old, so I've been around for over 50 years. Of course, there have been moments that made me very exhausted. But that's not the point, because once you are very focused on doing something, you tend to forget the physical exhaustion. It is the mental focus which counts. For example, I have a friend who is a wonderful ballet dancer. She started learning ballet when she was 5, 6 years old. And she was the first Chinese person ever, ethnic Chinese person ever, to be admitted to the Royal Ballet in the UK. And once if we looked at her, she has overcome a lot of the physical exhaustion, physical challenges, because she loved ballet dancing so much. So I always, when I like the job, when I like the work of Heng so much, you know, being tired, being overworked is really not an issue, because you get a lot of pleasure and job satisfaction out of the job itself. That's why I always encourage our kids and friends among our donors and supporters to find your passion, to find things that really motivate you. Because once you have found your spot of happiness, the things that motivate you, it would still be very tiring, very exhausting, but you won't feel it because you are so immersed into this that you don't feel the physical exhaustion. So I hope all of you can find your heart and your passion.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And for the last question, what is your outlook for the future of Heng Foundation?
Well, Heng Foundation has been around for 23 years and we have experienced a lot of different areas, different growth. If you ask me my vision, it's the same as many years ago. On a long-term basis, our mission is to enable and promote a more equal and healthy society. To me, social equality and health is very important. And we also have been fighting social stigma, which sometimes is caused by HIV/AIDS, sometimes it is by poverty and many other issues. So we want our beneficiaries to be healthy, equal, and also free from discrimination. And how to do it would evolve as our society evolves into different situations. And I also envision that Heng is not a traditional charity that, we get money from wealthy donors and then we are the intermediaries and then we pass on the resources to the poor people. No. My vision of Heng is more robust, and it is a more robust ecosystem. Our donors and supporters would feed their resources, whether it's financial resources, human resources, into our ecosystem. But at the same time, they also get something back. They got job satisfaction back from doing volunteer work. They got bakery products, eco bags, and their children would also get a better growth and development as our volunteer. And on the beneficiary side, we not only give our beneficiaries money to go to school, but we also empower them to be a more proud person, so that they could overcome social stigma associated with HIV/AIDS. They can also become a better developed person, but at the same time develop a sense of social responsibility and repay Heng in different ways. Repay not necessarily in monetary terms, but It could be the fact that we train up over 300 French bakers, and at the same time they now become very good chefs, and they are repaying us by manufacturing wonderful baking products to us. It could be eco bags. So through social enterprises, we see our beneficiaries not as someone who is very poor and need help, but we see our beneficiaries as a partner of development. They can, after receiving resources from us, they can become a better person, and they can have better development themselves, but at the same time repay the society, repay our ecosystem through the developments. For example, many of our university graduates have graduated from college and now come back to work for us. 70% of our current paid staff were actually former beneficiaries from Heng. So we send them through college, and now they graduated and they come back to work for us. So this is also an illustration of our robust ecosystem, that our beneficiaries who got empowered and come back and become our stakeholders and support our ecosystem. So I hope in the future, no matter what we do, it is not a traditional charity that a group of people who have money and resources provide to the charity, and the charity help other poor people. The poor people can be empowered to help the charity, and also the supporters also can be helped by us. And another example is our elderly senior care, home-based care service. Our youth are now being trained to become nurses and senior home-based care providers. So one day, our donors who might need the services, so the people that they have been sponsoring for their education, one day might come back to take care of them. So I hope in the future, this our vision of this robust ecosystem as a charitable model can continue.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Chung for sharing your insight and your experiences with Heng for the past 23 years. And thank you for today's interview. And we hope to see you soon in Vancouver.
Thanks a lot for watching our program, and I hope that we can keep in touch. And thanks a lot for your support to the Heng Foundation. Thank you.